know the drill. And look who I found walking Wright Family Park, Dr. Frank Rodriguez, who is a blessing to this state.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
I mean, I'll say town too, but I don't want to make Beaufort and Hilton hit mad, so I'll go state. So we're at Wright Family Park, and it's so cool because there's some students right back there. And my mission and passion are the kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime they need me, I'm there. I had 3 that went through the school system. Fabulous experience. And now I got 2 of my 3 back home.
All right.
So we got to get yours out, back home.
Yep.
Keep our age young.
That's
so,
right.
So we're just going to chat.
Sounds good.
So, little bit, tell us about your family. I don't know that anyone's ever asked about your family.
Yeah, well, thank you. My family's doing great. I mean, they have really adjusted and transitioned so well. I've got 2 boys in our schools here in Bluffton, and my wife is a pediatric physical therapist, and she works here in the community in Bluffton, and we absolutely love it here. We absolutely love it. This is such a beautiful, beautiful community, all of Beaufort, but certainly here in Bluffton.
So I see a lot of people that are hesitant to move until their children are out of high school.
Yeah.
Or like our town manager, it was just the right time. One was going into high school, one was going into middle school. And I do tell them, and you can speak to it, you're a new student for about an hour.
Yeah.
Did they have what was their integration into all of that? And what do they do?
Yeah, it was so amazing for my kids, really, and it was such a great move. I felt the anxiety about it like any parent does, right? Because you're making a move and you're transitioning your whole family, you know, and you just want it to be right for them, you know, and so I felt that anxiety going into it, but we were here about a minute.
Yeah.
About a minute.
Yeah.
And my youngest son, found friends in the neighborhood who just embraced him, and that summer when we moved here, just took right off. And my oldest son was going to be part of the ROTC program
awesome.
at Bluffton High, which is amazing. It's such a great program.
Yeah.
And I literally, like, within 2 days, they were having a summer event or function, and they invited him. They toured him around the school, showed him the school, and they welcomed him in, and he took off with a group of friends in no time at all. So they both found friends immediately, and really, I couldn't ask for anything better for kids, you know.
So the message is, parents, don't worry about your kids, but kids, worry about your parents.
Yeah.
Because the kids are fine.
Yeah.
And I always say, when I was growing up, everyone was always worried about the next generation. I have such confidence in our kids today. And when I see them through scholarships and ROTC and sports and robotics and maybe nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to go to school and work. It's just refreshing, and I want them to stay here.
That is one of the things that in my profession that I get a chance to see all the time, right? And that's the next generation. And I don't worry about them. You know, actually, they're going to do greater things than any of us have ever done, you know? And you see the leadership in them in school, and the things that interest them, and the passion that they bring forward. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
you seem to be in the schools a lot, Dr. Rodriguez. Now, I've been through several, 4 superintendents.
Yeah.
I feel I should be 90. But I see you in the schools a lot.
Yep.
And maybe that's because social media has taken such a rise, and past superintendents did it. They just didn't have that ability for publicity or social media. But it's nice to see you there talking. They know who you are. They don't feel like they're intimidated by you very much. How is everything? I mean, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
We're in Bluffton, so we only talk about Bluffton schools today.
Yeah, I would tell you, you know, I love being in the schools, and that's one of the things, you know, keeps me grounded in the work that I do every day, that I want to make sure that I'm in tune with our teachers and with our students to make sure that you know, hearing from them and just talking with them and seeing how they're doing is what's working well for them and what's not. It's what I think helps me make good decisions for our system. right?
Yeah.
Because that's important. But yeah, I love being in the schools, and I'm any chance I get is my happy place, and that's where I go because talking with kids, talking with teachers, that's where it's at.
So curious, because I've seen it in the past, and when I moved here, there were no schools.
Yeah.
We all would go to Hilton Head. I mean, I'm shocked that my daughter, who now is 31, they went to a Christian preschool, but that Michael C. Riley opened around her when she wasn't first grader, but it was in that 3-year period. And I go to kids all the time and I say, how many of you were born here? And it used to be, 3 or 4. Now it seems to be the 97%, not the 3 or 4% that raise their hands. So it's nice that these kids, they call this home. But do you tell us, like in the schools, do you meet with students? Is there like an advisory group of students, and then what do you do in each school? And
so I when I visit schools at different sometimes it's just to walk in and out and see how instruction is going. Sometimes it's strategic meetings with principals and leadership teams, but sometimes it's just talk with kids and see how they're doing and how things are going. And I have student advisory councils, and I meet with them. It's at every high school, and I meet twice a year with our student advisory council. I started a diversity and inclusion group last year, and I met with them probably about 6 times last year, between January and the end of the year. And a lot of it is, you have to really value what you hear from kids, and you'd be surprised at how in tune they are with everything that goes on, not just in the school, but in our community, and in the world. And you see kids walking around with their iPods and things like that out in public all the time, and they're listening to music. They're listening to music, but be very aware that they are also aware of everything else that's happening around them. So.
They're listening to music, but a lot of them are listening to podcasts that are very good for them. Think about it, and you can think through it and tell me toward the end if you can, but I'm curious about this diversity and inclusion. What they say, if you can say it, what are some of the things that bother the students?
I was particularly impressed with the candor with which they spoke with us about diversity and inclusion. Some of the things that they talk about is many of them feel incredibly welcome in the schools and in the community. Right? They do talk about that. They talk about some of the challenges that kids go through at that age in dealing with and coping with issues related to diversity and inclusion. Right? They talk about ideas and suggestions on how to make things better. Right? And I think that's really what we're after, right? Is to figure out how do we do that to help them.
And how do you do it and know that they were heard? Sounds like you're just starting into it, but I'd love to know some of their suggestions and how we're implementing them. I believe in that. I think the kids get it better than the parents. But there are bullies, and there are, I'm not picking on girls because they're mean boys too. They're mean kids. And I loved our former governor, Haley's initiative on bullying, and I would love to get her back and do it because I really picked up on it. Because I don't think they realize it. I'm bullied, and I'll put it out there. I have some people that are big bullies, but I don't think kids realize that you can be bullied or I can be bullied. So it's a self-esteem thing, and I just want them to know, hey, I do it too. I get it too, and it does hurt. And my skin's way thicker than your skin. It's older, so it has to be thicker. But I love that. I hope they feel like they have a voice.
That's the whole goal, and that's the intent is to make sure they feel like they have a voice, and that they're open and can talk to us and communicate, and that we're not going away with it, right? We're coming back, and we're here. And I intentionally chose a group of students who were in 11th grade, so that this year I'll choose students that are in 10th and 11th, but those same 11th graders that are now 12th graders are going to be in there, so that group grows. But not only grows, there's continuity in that conversation to keep moving forward. With it, so.
Well, the town started several years ago a youth teen council. A local, John Acker, local, he'll be thrilled I said his name, who's in Washington now working as an intern. He graduated from Bluffton High in ROTC. A student at Citadel. He wanted to start a youth teen council. Really not under our umbrella, but we supported it.
Sure.
So we don't financially support them, but we put them together, and I told him I want it diverse. I want it to represent all the schools, public and private, because they all get along. So the parents need to all get along and come up. I'd love it to go through issues. Right now they're young and they're thinking of things to raise awareness, and they pick up on like maybe Let's See 43 or things like that. But it's wonderful because I love sitting with them and talking, and I want them to be honest. But they get everything. And like I was going to, the parents sometimes are a little bit of a helicopter. I probably was too. So, but I love that you're listening to them. I'd love to hear what their suggestions are. Let me ask this, and I don't know if you can answer it, but do they come up with if something happens, I don't want to say punishment, but is there something that equates to it? Are they for that, or do they feel like you just need to get in a room and understand? Or
I think that they're not really engaging so much in terms of consequences and punishment conversations, but it's more about how can we continue to strive and create an environment where diversity is appreciated as an asset, right? And then those are the kinds of things that they're coming up with ideas. Some of them started their own groups in their high schools.
Wow.
Right. So May River has one.
Okay. What's it called?
It's run by
Teens for Healthy Youth?
No, it's not Teens for Healthy Youth. No, this individual, she started her own group there around diversity and inclusion.
Wow.
And there's one at Beaufort High School that started one on their own as well. And so they've just taken it and run with it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome. But their work is that they started was particularly just around diversity and inclusion.
That's the new term of that old. I think it was called MultiCultural some club. It was a club. Councilwoman Frazier was part of it, and that's great to know. Now we need to encourage. I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to call her up, so I might be wrong. We need to get her to spread that to Bluffton High. We need Beaufort High to spread it to Well Branch and Battery Creek, and then we all need to go to Hilton Head.
And so to be honest with you, when I started that group of students in the school district, these two I didn't know, but they already had their own diversity and inclusion groups going.
Wow.
So they brought that to the table as a conversation. And some of them were working and mentoring other students in other schools how to do it. So
that's very cool. Leave it to the students. They'll take care of us.
They'll lead.
They really will.
Give them the space to lead. They'll lead.
Well, what you love, I'm asking everyone. So tell me your top 3. You can do 2 reasons other than school and a job, that you would stay in Bluffton.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. It is so beautiful just sitting out here and looking out. I told you my wife and kids and I, we come out here just about every weekend and just walk around and enjoy the town, enjoy the space. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful place to raise your family. It absolutely is. I have found a very welcoming environment. And I absolutely love it. So just the beautiful and aspect and a wonderful place to be and live. My family and I are outdoors people. We love to be outdoors, and so this is wonderful. That's one, and I think the food's the other one.
Food is great.
I just love the food here.
I mean, it's hard. There are not enough days in the week to eat meals. Because there's not a restaurant I wouldn't go to. And it is my duty as mayor to support every restaurant in the town of Bluffton. Well, and I try. I think I'm there.
Well, as superintendent,
I
do it also. So.
What do your kids like to do?
Both of my kids are in the Boy Scouts.
Oh, awesome.
My oldest, Javi's close to being
Eagle?
Eagle.
Okay.
He's getting there. He's a Life Scout now, so he's working on completing that.
Okay.
And then my youngest is into robotics.
Awesome.
So Javi runs. My oldest runs as well. TJ, my youngest, he's robotics. He plays soccer.
Oh, soccer. Good.
So Javi runs cross country. He's in ROTC. Those are the things they do.
Yeah.
And TJ's in robotics and soccer.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
By the way, I love our sports program here
Yes.
in the community in Bluffton.
Yeah.
Our kids have gone and played through it, and they love it. They absolutely love it.
We have a great sports program. When my youngest, who's 27, signed up for T-ball, there were 3 teams. And they struggled to get a full 10.
Yeah.
And now, years ago, I remember someone said there's 700 kids signed up for soccer. I'm like, there weren't 700 kids in town when I moved here. I love it. Love. And I'm going to put the plug out so everyone can make sure we get this done, that we are on target for a turf field. And I'm territorial. I'm not happy it went somewhere else first.
Yeah.
But that Bluffton, followed by May River, are going to have turf fields. So
They're going to have beautiful turf fields and
love
athletic
it.
facilities. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
Bluffton actually is getting their new track is being put in place now.
I saw it.
So they're working on that,
And
and the turf field, as soon as football season ends, they're gonna work on that and get that laid out.
So my hope is just a hope. I'm throwing it at you, and you do not have to answer. But my hope is, since you love our youth sports so much, and now we're gonna have fields that have less maintenance, that it opens up the doors to really open up our schools to all of our kids. I think it just keeps our kids connected.
Yep.
They all connect.
Yep.
They're much better than we are. But I'm excited. I'm excited about that. It only took Michael is 27, and at 15 we pushed to have turf fields. So it only took us 12 years.
Wow.
So he's gonna have to come and step on it.
Absolutely.
So
We're having an alumni game.
let's do it. Oh, well, you know what? It was one of the best. They went to state, so
There you go.
we still live. None of the kids know them. So, well, it was so nice to run into you.
Thank you. It's nice to see you.
And keep bringing your family out.
I bet. We will. We will. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too.